Hey ladies and gents, this is DeWiz coming to you with a Mythic Legions action figure review. This time it is Lucretia. So let me take a look at her bio. Lucretia, groomed from birth by her father, the legendary Baron Volligar, to become leader of Illythia's brood, Lucretia couldn't be more suited to her bloody reign of horror. Completely devoid of emotion or empathy, she is a callous warmonger who is all too willing to wipe out thousands as a means to her cruel ends. A bloodline descended directly from Illythia herself gives Lucretia immense power and a militant sense of responsibility that continually urges her to bring back her ancient ancestor. Holy smokes. Lucretia, vampire, daughter of Baron Volligar, fleshing out our vampire ranks here as part of the Advent of Decay Kickstarter figure wave. Carpathius, the first vampire that he got with that very Nosferatu vibe. Scary stuff, but then at the same time, really, really cool, really sleek, very sexy. Lucretia is a fine addition to the ranks. Let me take a look at her closely here. What I love about this figure is the contrast. I love this like black lacquer paint that takes up most of her costume, and then the purple accents really fit things in nicely. There's a lot of little silver rivets and stuff in her armor that really pop. It's all very shiny. It's all very sleek. The paint is almost flawless. I can see a tiny little line of paint there where it shouldn't be, but it's amazing how incredible every little dot, every little rivet. Look at these clasps there, the leather, how perfectly everything is painted. This is the first time I've seen any sort of, I take it back. That was not a paint defect. It is flawless. It was basically a a little bit of schmutz or some sort of piece of lint or something that just came off. So I thought I had found a defect in a figure, but hey, no, I was wrong. Paint, absolutely flawless. I love the porcelain skin that she has, and then the very subtle shading in the areas around her eyes, like a charcoal makeup type thing. Her tiny gauges are painted perfectly as well. She's beautiful. She's fierce. She is kick butt. This collar piece here really makes the costume amazing. And I like how the purple paint is inside. She's a beautiful figure. Look at those ears, how delicately sculpted they are. Kind of elfin, but then at the same time sort of, goblin-y. I haven't seen any sort of movie or anything where vampires resemble her with kind of the protruding brow ridge. She's got a bifurcated nasal ridge there. But boy, I'd love to see a movie starring, Carpathius and Lucretia and Baron Volligar, whatever he looks like, because they're amazing. And then nice bald head. Had a thing for bald ladies ever since that first movie came out, the first Star Trek movie, which was lousy, but had a beautiful model with a shaved head. So anyway, this is very, oh wow, look at that detail. I don't know if the camera can pick this up, but she's got this just vein popping out on her forehead where she's ticked, and then it goes with that little pout on her mouth, which I know she's supposed to be devoid of emotion and everything, but you can see that vein pulsating, and that just tells you that you're in for it. You're in for it. Here's a awesome sword, beautifully sculpted as well, very, very stylish. And then she's got the cape, which I just put in there. And there are a number of different ways to put in the cape. I'm not sure if this is the correct way, but it worked. I had to take a hairdryer and sort of put it in the pauldron holes and just loosen those up a bit because I was having a little difficulty getting the pauldrons in. But once they're in, you know, they're working well. And she looks amazing. So I'm looking forward to filling out the ranks of the vampires. To me, Illythia's brood seems to be, you know, the strongest. I can't imagine how they could be defeated. The only other thing that I think would have been better is if we would have had a weapons belt that was black instead of brown, because the brown kind of clashes. And I know we had another figure that had a weapons belt that was black, but she would be a good candidate for that black weapons belt because she does have a few leather straps and a few leather accessories, but I'm probably going to exhibit her without her rubber, weapons belt. So she also comes with this dagger, which we've also seen before in the sheath. So that's a very wicked looking, tiny looking blade. It's got it looks like an eyeball in the sheath, emblazoned in the sheath. And then this you can sort of tuck in maybe on her armor and like that, or on the weapons belt as well. But that's a very, very thin holder for the sheath, so I would be careful where I put that. And then she's just got this bulkier blade, so that can go in her weapons belt as well. What else can I say about Lucretia? I don't know if I don't think I've done a rundown on these on the female body articulation, so I'll do that really quick. Obviously, this is a figure that's designed to pop apart. The feet can pop off, and the legs and all that stuff. The loincloth can pop off as well, but she's got many of the same articulation points as the male figure. She's got the wrist that is a hinge and a swivel. She's got the forearm swivel here. She's got the elbow, which bends, of course, but also swivels. She's got a, the pauldrons. I don't want these to pop off, so I'm not going to put her arms up. But she can also be displayed without the pauldrons. She's got the full range of motion on that sort of hinge and ball shoulders. She's got this mid chest, which is a crunch and a twist and a swivel. She's got, a full swivel waist, which also has a little bit of a crunch there. She's got the legs can split apart. Obviously, these armor pieces here keep them from going all the way, but she's also got the mid right here, her quads and her thighs, like the mid thigh swivel, and then of course the knee that has a good range of motion, and it can kick and it can go forward and back as well, and then it can swivel at the knee, and then it's got the swivel ankle, and it has the a hinge right here that goes back and forth, and then rocker ankles. Now the ankles on this are tight, and I don't want to force them because I want her to be able to stand well, and I want her to stand for a long time. So I'm not going to mess with those, but I did have to loosen them up a little bit. So I took the hairdryer and I applied a little heat, and then gently applied some even pressure, and then I got them to a place where she stands nicely. So Lucretia, I think, is one of my favorite figures so far. Like I said, she's strong. She's a strong female, very, very foreboding look on her face, and obviously something to be reckoned with. I love the fact that we can see her face just like we can see Clavius' faces, and it's got so much personality. Eric Treadaway really, with those white eyes, the furrowed brow, the curl of the lip. He really lets you know that this person is deadly, and that Illythia, her ancestor, the evil god that she's trying to resurrect, must be incredibly scary. Baron Volligar was, the bad kind of black, not generic, but kind of a black knight, vampire knight. Now, when you see him next to Lucretia, he sort of pales in comparison because she's so unique, she's so sleek, she's so sexy, and as far as I'm concerned, she's leading the vampires. She's leading the vampires into battle. She's making the devious plans, and Baron Volligar is kind of the muscle, even though that's her relative and her mentor. I think she's come into her own, and Clavius is kind of a skulky sort of character. But when you have a sculpt and you have characters that just get your imagination flowing, and it just starts running with all the possibilities as far as stories and things that they can do and adventures that they can have. That's when you know that the toy makers, in this case the Four Horsemen, and the sculptor Eric Treadaway, did a awesome job designing these figures, because that's what toys like this should do, is capture the imagination. Get one of these. This is a must get. All right, is the whiz. That's my review of Lucretia. So is the whiz signing out.